So usually as soon as people get paid, the first thing they're tempted to do is just spend it all. This usually happens when people lack a structure and they're not paying attention to the details. In this video, I'm going to give you the 7 simple but powerful steps that you should take in order to gain financial success. Now, the first step you should do as soon as you get paid, and this is something that's critical, and a lot of people just do not do this, is just review your pay stub. Make sure whatever you're getting paid is exactly what you are getting paid. If you were promised a raise in a certain percent, make sure that amount of money is being reflected on your pay stub. You want to also make sure your health insurance, medical, dental, all of that is being deducted correctly. Now, here's a little bonus I tell so many people if they want to get an instant raise on their paycheck. The first thing you want to do is verify how much money is being withheld in your federal taxes. If you are getting a big refund check in the end of the year, that is by far the worst thing for you to do. What you're essentially doing is you're giving the government a free interest loan. Take that money now. All you need to do, and a lot of employers offer this, is review the W-4. Make the necessary changes for them to take the least amount of taxes in your paycheck. That way you get an instant raise now on your check. The things you could do with that money today is going to be way more important than the money you can do with it as soon as you get that big windfall when the tax refund season. You want to take that money and build your emergency fund, or you want to take that money today and start paying off debt, or you want to take that money and use it to start investing. The goal is in tax season, you want your refund to be as close to zero as possible. Now that you review your pay stub, the next thing you want to do is to automate your savings. In society right now is really unfortunate. So many people do not even have $500 in their savings account. It's difficult, especially if you put yourself in the mix and you're depending on yourself on payday to take that money and transfer it. Most likely, you're not going to do it. The best approach is to do an automatic transfer coming from your checking account directly into your high yield savings account. Some companies, and if yours offer this is even better. You can actually set it up with direct deposit. You could have a savings and to have a direct deposit going into your checking account. If you could do that, that's even better because now you're not even seeing that money coming into your checking account. It's coming directly from the employer, directly into the high yield savings account. That is the best way to ensure that if anything happens in your life, any type of emergency, you have money built in the side for it. Now, the amount of money you want to transfer, I recommend if you're someone who is not used to putting money into a high yield savings account or starting to save, don't put so much money in. Start small. Because if you start big, you're going to be really tempted to tap into that savings account to start using the money. Because then if you don't budget correctly, this is just going to allow you to continue pulling from your savings account and you're basically just making it pointless. Now that you review your pay stub and then you set up automatic savings, the next thing you want to do is put some contributions to investments. You need to really put a large emphasis on investing. You're not going to be able to work your whole entire life into your 65s, into your 70s. There's going to come a time, there's going to come a day where you're not going to want to work and you want to have financial freedom and you want to make sure you saved enough money where you could retire. And if you're going to do that, you definitely need to start putting money into your investment account. If your company has a 401k match, perfect. Go at least up to the match. After that, you can open up a Roth IRA, you can put money into an index fund and start investing immediately. It's hard for a lot of people. I get it because you think you need to put a large amount of money to invest. You don't. I do not recommend that. I recommend, once again, you start small. You don't want to put this big shot within your financial world. You want to make at least a very small amount and put money into an investment. An S&P 500, something that follows S&P 500, like an index fund, a very low cost index fund, is all you need to do. Just set it and don't mess with that money. Let it build and let it grow. And if you're like me, you'll be extremely surprised how much money will come in your 401k account. I started investing at the age of 30. Now I'm 43. I have over $100,000 within my 401k account. It doesn't sound like a lot, but as all those videos you might see on YouTube, everything starts changing once you start getting to $100,000. With the compound interest is going to accelerate, and by the time I hit close to retirement age, I would not have the fear of having no money during retirement. Now, the next step you want to take is to budget for the month. Yes, I know people hate budgeting, but it's really crucial if you want to build financial freedom. You can follow the 50-30-20 plan, whatever plan you want to follow, as long as you have a good understanding of your expenses and you see exactly what's coming in and what's coming out. Every month is going to be different. Some people like to just set it and forget it, but but you can't, because there's certain months where you might need to pay for your car registration, you might need to pay for homeowners insurance or property taxes. There might be some miscellaneous things as well that you might need to budget for. And you do not want to be surprised by it, because that's going to make you just pull into a savings account and use that money for what you deem as an emergency. But if you had been better prepared, you know this expense was coming. Now, when you're making a budget, you really could use anything. You could use a pen and paper to write it down, you could use an Excel spreadsheet, or you could use an app. You have so many options, but to me, it's best when you write it down, because now you're being forced to slow down and think about it, because it's very easy to just overlook certain expenses that might come through. Now, the fifth step is to pay your bills immediately. Do not do all this floating and paying your bills next month and delaying it. No, the first thing you want to do is make sure you pay your bills on time. What I highly recommend is to set all your bills on an auto pay. That's the best thing for you to do. That way you know exactly when this is coming out. There's no surprises. You know exactly when it's coming out, and you're not going to get hit with any late fees. Because the last thing you want to do is to have to put all your hard-earned money into late fees. It's the worst. And the way I do things is this, because I get paid on the 1st and the 15th. Any bill that comes along in the 12th or the 13th or whatever, I put that on the 1st. So on the 1st, I pay all my bills. That's it. I have it on auto pay, or for some, I change the date to put it as close as to the 1st, because I don't like bills just lingering in my account. You could do the same, but as long as you have it set up for auto pay, which pretty much everyone offers now, even if they don't offer it in any utilities company that you're using, you could set up in your account as bill pay and have them send out that paper check to them every month. Now, if you're also someone who's good with credit cards, I highly recommend to put a credit card to pay for all this, because that way you get some of your points. But I tell you this right now, as long as you're a credit card person, you're responsible, you could go that route. But if you are already in credit card debt, I won't do that. Just make those payments directly from your checking account. Now, the next step you want to do is to pay down your debt. If you have debt, especially with a high interest, that is just destroying your wealth. You need to get this out of your life quickly, because credit card debt, I mean, whoa, that's the most toxic debt that's out there. You need to have a game plan to pay off your debt. And when you get paid, you need to put a huge, large emphasis on paying down your debt. Now, which method do you choose? Do you choose a debt snowball, or do you choose an avalanche? To me, I do not care. As long as you're paying off your debt, that's the best approach. You could choose to pay off the debt that you hate the most. There might be some debt that's lingering and you just hate it. Pay that off first, because when it comes to paying off debt, you want to feel like you're gaining wins and you want to feel good about it. So choose any process, but as long as you are paying off your debt, that is really critical. And the 7th step, and this is by far the most important step, have some money on the side to just have fun. Listen guys, paying off debt and just saving for the future or for short term, it just becomes really frustrating, and it feels like you're just working for no reason. You want to make sure you put some money aside for you to spend on yourself today on whatever it is that you want. It makes everything you're doing worthwhile, because doing all the right things still kind of gives you a feeling of you living paycheck to paycheck. And let's be quite honest, living paycheck to paycheck sucks. But if you know you have some money on the side to enjoy, it'll make the process way more enjoyable than being just tight and strict with your budget. Now, I recommend taking at least 5 to 10% of your paycheck and put it to something fun. Go out to dinner, treat yourself, do whatever it takes to just keep you motivated and to keep you going. And here's a bonus. I'm gonna give you guys a bonus. This is a bonus that you should also make sure that you have, which is an emergency fund. All of these steps that you're doing can all be derailed if you don't have an emergency fund. Now, do you need 3 months, 6 months? Whatever field you're in, that depends how much money you need to save. But you need to have a cushion. We all know there really is not so much of a crazy emergency we need more than $1,000. Dave Ramsey always says put $1,000. I recommend you put up to $1,000, but don't stop there, okay? Just understand $1,000 could usually handle the small things, but you continually put money in the emergency fund, because the more you start building that emergency fund, the further away it pushes you from emergencies that are really minor and could derail you. So please, I beg you, please, do an emergency fund. That will be your saving grace. So as you see guys, these steps are really simple and it's really powerful. It doesn't matter how much money you have. You could just start small, and eventually when your income starts increasing, you could put all these accounts higher. Your savings, your investings, you're paying off debt, everything you could increase at the same level. So if you follow these steps, I guarantee you, you will just be on your way to financial freedom.